Thank you for staying with us. We continue here. Parliament's Joint Committee on Ethics and Members' Interests has slapped 9 MPs from different parties with fines. This is for failing to declare their financial interests by October's deadline. Committee co-chairperson Henni Britz is with us to share a bit more. Mr. Britz, good to have you on the program this evening. Firstly, why is it so crucial for MPs to submit their financial interests, especially by the stipulated deadlines?
Good evening to you and good evening to all the viewers. Now, first of all, ethics in Parliament is governed by the Code of Ethics and Conduct. And in terms of the Code of Ethics, it is required of all members of Parliament to annually register and declare their interests. Now, there are 2 parts of the register, a public part, and that information is available to any member of public, and then there is a confidential part. Now, in the confidential part, MPs must declare the monetary value of their own interests, all their interests, their spouses, their family members, and in the public part of the register, they must declare all their interests that hold, for example, in companies and shares and the like.
Right.
So this register is very important for the simple reason that is a mechanism how we can keep and hold public representatives in Parliament accountable. And it is there to create a trust between members of Parliament and the public.
But can you elaborate on the criteria, but also the considerations that the committee uses when actually determining fines for late submissions?
Yes, that may be contentious. I've seen some comments in public, but this part of the code is very, very clear. We do not deliberate and then, out of our own, sanction members. That the sanction itself is prescribed in the code. So there are in the code there are requirements for first offender, second offender, third offender, and there's more.
Right.
So the committee receive a complaint. That complaint is investigated by the registrar, and the committee then deliberate and then make its recommendation to Parliament.
As we try to understand the committee's work a bit more closely, what measures were taken to ensure that MPs were aware of their obligations, especially regarding financial disclosures?
Well, after the election last year and after the inauguration of members, all members were informed of induction process, and the registrar of the committee, Advocate Gordon, invited members to come to the committee room to be assisted in compiling the interest in the register. And there were many opportunities for members of Parliament to attend one of these sessions. So at the sessions, all members were given the opportunity to log on, to go through the questionnaire and submit the information. This process was also governed by the chief whips of each and every party in Parliament. So at the end thereof, the deadline was October of last year, the members who did not declare their interest in both sections of the register, they were brought before the committee, and they were given the opportunity to reply to as to the reasons why they did not declare their interests. Thereafter, the report was submitted to the committee, and we deliberated on the reports and made our decision.
But how does the committee then assess reasons provided by the MPs for these late submissions? And are there any acceptable justifications here?
Well, initially 12 members were in breach of the code. 12 members of Parliament at the end of October did not declare their interests. Ever since last year, 3 of them resigned, and 9 members were found to be in breach. Now, each and every member had the opportunity to write to the committee and provide reasons for the breach of the code by not giving their interests or not declaring their interests. So yes, each and every member had the opportunity before we submitted our report to make a declaration to the committee why they are in breach. The committee deliberated on each and every member's input. Some members decided not to submit any input, and the committee was unanimous in its finding against the 9 members.
But how do late financial disclosures by MPs affect the public perception of parliamentary accountability, but also speaking to transparency processes?
Yes. The public portion of the register, as I said before, that is open for public scrutiny, and any member of public can access that portion of the register on the website of Parliament. So that enables the public to have access to each and every member's declaration.
But what steps is the committee then considering to prevent future occurrences of late financial disclosures, especially amongst MPs?
Well, the current Code of Conduct that was accepted in May 2024 makes provision for that. It makes provision for first offenders and repeat offenders. The current committee also resolved to review the code, and our review will be finalized by the 3rd quarter of this year. And in that instance, we will make further recommendations to Parliament.
But this then does spark questions as to how does the committee then ensure that penalties for late disclosures are applied consistently across all MPs, regardless of their position or party affiliation as well?
Well, what happens, first of all, as soon as both houses of Parliament accept the report and recommendations made therein, the sanctions against the 9 members, that is the fines that we propose, will be deducted from their salaries by the administrative process. So it's not a question of the MPs paying or not paying, it will be deducted from their salaries automatically upon acceptance of the report. Coming to party political interest, now this committee is a confidential committee. It consists of 8 political parties and 20 members, 10 members from the National Assembly and 10 members from the National Council of Provinces. Now, because this committee is confidential, that eliminates party political interests. As you can see, members of various political parties will be sanctioned. And during deliberations, party political interests play no role.
Mr. Britz, as we wrap up our conversation, can you end by explaining how financial disclosures contribute to ethical conduct and integrity within Parliament?
Well, let's look at the history of the recent past. Over the past years, many allegations were made against members of Parliament, especially during the years of state capture. Now, with the acceptance of this Code of Conduct last year in May, Parliament used this code and this committee as a mechanism to ensure that members of Parliament is above allegations. So when declarations in terms of interests are made, it can be scrutinized by the committee, and members can even be declared to undergo audit, a lifestyle audit, to see if their lifestyle and their declared interest compare with one another.
But what are some of the common challenges that the committee then encounters in enforcing timely financial disclosures?
Well, first of all, the cooperation of members. There are ample of opportunity for each and every MP to access the system. They can access it 24/7 and 7 days a week. And they can access it 24/7 and 7 days a week. either from Parliament or from their homes or offices, is a very simplified procedure. Thereafter, each and every chief whip of parties are informed of which members have declared and which members have not declared before the deadline. So there's a double mechanism, one through the administration of Parliament and secondly through the chief whips of parties. And that ensures declaration. So a member that is in breach and did not declare in time actually does not have reason why he or she did not declare.
Henni, before I let you go, are there any plans to revise the current code of ethical conduct to indeed enhance compliance, but also address some of the issues related to financial disclosures?
You will notice that we've filed our report on Friday. The next opportunity for members of Parliament to declare interest starts on the 1st of April. Now, hopefully, these sanctions that we recommend Parliament impose is a deterrent for current MPs and to ensure that they do declare in time.
Mr. Britz, thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate Henni Britz. He's the co-chairperson of the Joint Committee on Ethics and Members' Interests, really shedding light on this important issue, but also speaking to the processes of this very important committee as well.